July 11th, 2015, 8:52 p.m. A man walks toward the bathroom of his cell. 90 minutes later, the guards open the door. The bed is empty. And in the bathroom floor, a hole, 50 centimeters wide, cut through reinforced concrete with surgical precision. The most wanted man on the planet had just vanished from one of the most secure prisons in the world, and nobody heard a thing. The Altiplano federal prison wasn't built to hold ordinary criminals. It was built to hold one man, Joaquín Archibaldo Guzmán Luera, known to the world as El Chapo. The Mexican government had designed Altiplano as their answer to a question the country desperately needed to answer. Can you actually keep someone like El Chapo behind bars? Located in Almoya de Juarez in the state of Mexico, the facility was modeled after American Supermax protocols: multiple perimeter layers, randomized inspection routines, guards rotated constantly to prevent personal bonds, cameras covering every angle, motion sensors, around-the-clock surveillance. When El Chapo arrived in February 2014, captured in Mazatlan after 13 years on the run, the government celebrated. They said it publicly. They said the rule of law had prevailed. But there was a detail nobody liked to bring up in those press conferences. This wasn't the first time El Chapo had been locked up. Back in 2001, he walked out of Puente Grande, another maximum security facility, allegedly hidden inside a laundry cart. The official version never convinced anyone. Documents later revealed that dozens of guards and staff had been bribed over the course of months. The escape wasn't a prison break, it was a purchase. So when El Chapo arrived at Altiplano in 2014, the entire security system was designed around a single assumption: he's going to try again. What nobody considered was what was already happening 6 meters beneath their feet. The construction started, according to investigators, at least 1 year before the escape. 1 full year, while El Chapo followed his daily prison routine: meals, yard time, cell. A silent team on the outside was executing one of the most complex logistical operations in the history of organized crime. The starting point was a modest house under construction, located exactly 1.5 kilometers from the prison walls. On municipal records, there was nothing unusual about it. But inside that house, workers were operating in night shifts, descending through a narrow shaft and digging east, centimeter by centimeter, meter by meter, in a straight line toward a single calculated point directly beneath El Chapo's cell. And here's what separates this escape from anything that came before it. Nothing was improvised. The tunnel stood 1.5 meters tall. The walls were reinforced to prevent collapse. A complete electrical system ran along the entire length. Mechanical ventilation pumped fresh air to workers during excavation. And along the floor, steel rails, over which a modified motorcycle cart could travel at up to 50 kilometers per hour underground. Estimated construction cost between $1 and $5 million. For a cartel generating billions annually, that wasn't an expense, that was an investment. But there's a problem that money alone can't solve: precision. Digging 1.5 kilometers in a perfectly straight line underground, without GPS, without modern surveying equipment, and hitting the exact target on the other end, requires a level of technical knowledge that doesn't come from criminal networks alone. Documents from the subsequent trial revealed that the Sinaloa cartel hired civil engineers, surveyors, professionals with real academic credentials, paid in silence, and almost certainly working under permanent threat. Industrial drilling equipment was used, the kind that makes considerable noise. So how did no one inside the prison hear it? Because the crews only worked when the wind was strong, when it was raining, when heavy trucks were passing on the nearby highway. They masked the sound with the environment itself. And when the noise was unavoidable, well, there are theories. Some involve guards who mysteriously stopped conducting night rounds in certain sectors during specific weeks. Nobody was formally charged for that, but institutional silence has a way of speaking clearly. July 11, 2015. Earlier that evening, El Chapo had asked the guard not to disturb him before the usual time. A small detail, one that raised no alarm. At 8:52 p.m., security cameras, the ones that were still properly aimed, captured El Chapo walking toward his bathroom for the last time. 90 minutes later, the guard opened the door for routine verification. Empty bed. A hole in the bathroom floor, 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters, cut with precision. The escape alarm was triggered at 10:52 p.m. El Chapo had been gone for over an hour. Inside the tunnel, everything was ready. The motorized cart was waiting, built for one person, fitted with a small overhead structure to protect the passenger's head during the ride. 1.5 kilometers, 10 meters underground, lit only by the electrical system installed along every inch of the route. Estimated travel time from one end to the other, under 5 minutes. On the other end, the house under construction, a vehicle waiting, an open road. And just like that, El Chapo walked out of a maximum security federal prison, climbed into a car, and disappeared into the interior of Sinaloa, territory where the cartel didn't need tunnels to protect him. Out there, nobody asks questions, nobody answers them either, and nobody sees a thing. Mexico awoke on July 12, 2015, facing an institutional crisis with no precedent. President Enrique Peña Nieto was on an official visit to France. He had to interrupt his agenda to address the country. The Minister of Justice held a press conference with a face that said everything without saying anything. And the U.S. State Department issued a statement that, reading between the lines, communicated exactly what Washington thought of Mexico's security apparatus. Because what had happened at Altiplano wasn't just a prison break, it was proof that the Mexican state could not hold its most valuable prisoner. The investigation that followed was deeply uncomfortable. The security camera covering El Chapo's corridor had been repositioned weeks before the escape. By whom? That was never conclusively established. 18 guards were detained for questioning, 7 were formally indicted. But the most important question, who knew inside that prison, was never fully answered. El Chapo remained free for 6 months. In January 2016, he was recaptured in Los Mochis, Sinaloa, after a confrontation with Mexican special forces. The operation relied heavily on DEA intelligence and was triggered, of all things, by El Chapo's own decision to contact actor Sean Penn for a Rolling Stone interview. 13 years of running, 3 tunnels, one of the most elaborate prison escapes in human history, undone by vanity. In January 2017, El Chapo was extradited to the United States. In July 2019, a federal court in New York sentenced him to life in prison. He is currently held at ADX Florence, Colorado, the most secure prison on American soil. There are no tunnels at ADX Florence. At least, that's what everyone believes. El Chapo's escape raised questions that go far beyond one man and one hole in a bathroom floor. It showed what happens when a criminal organization controls financial resources, equivalent to those of a small nation, and chooses to direct every dollar of them towards a single objective. It showed that security, at its core, is a question of human trust, and human trust has always had a price. And it showed that when governments need to demonstrate they control chaos, they sometimes only manage to reveal the full depth of the chaos they never controlled. The tunnel was dismantled, the house was demolished, but the question it left behind is harder to tear down. How many tunnels are being dug right now, somewhere no one is looking? If this story made you stop and think, there are dozens more waiting for you here. Escapes that should have been impossible, heists that rewrote the rules of security, plans so precise they read like fiction, except every single detail is real. Every week, we go deep inside the cases that changed how the world thinks about crime, control, and what human beings are capable of when they are completely determined. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, because the next story, you are not going to want to miss it.